Hope you guys ready. About to get the show started in a second, you guys, okay? I am back here with you guys. About to get started in a few. Thank you for rocking with your girl. Hello, beautiful people. How are you guys doing today? It's your girl, CharaeBChicago, here with another video. Y'all see the thumbnail? We about to thumbnail. We about to get it in. Talk about these leaders. Or these lack thereof. I don't know which way you want to say it. What you want to say? You want to say we got leaders or do we don't have leaders? I don't know. Does the Black community have leaders? You got Oh Lord. What they say, like struggle streaming already? Ain't that what TLA says? It's all good. So I want to get in with some of this particular topic. So before we do that, I would love for you guys to like the video. You know, we got to do our maintenance to talk about these Black leaders today. Definitely going to drop the link so you guys can join the conversation. And for all of my Facebook and Twitch people, go ahead and follow the page. And if you are on YouTube, you guys go subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can get in tune with all of the content that this young lady has. What I usually do is I like to have a conversation and try to build the community. So in building the community, I highlight people who are informing, impacting, or letting the people know about the community, i.e. usually this is Chicago. This is CharaeBChicago. Every Tuesday, we like to break down the Black community when it comes to relationships. And one of the things that we need to do is talk about who's our leader. We need to talk about who's our leader today and leadership in general. Let's see if we could do that. Let's have this conversation. So, hey, let's build the community. Well, First things first, I see some people in the comment session. So let's go ahead and see what's up. What's up? What's up? What's up? I see some people came in early. Rashawn came in early, and some more people came in earlier. I do not see their comments anymore, but Rashawn is in there right now showing some love. I appreciate you, Rashawn. I appreciate you, Rashawn. I see my girl. This is my girl. I love this girl right here, Miss WME over the top. Hello, Colette. How are you, beautiful? How are you? And then we have my guy. I love this guy right here, 100 watts. Tuning in on the Twitch. Go ahead and follow me on Twitch. If you haven't already, show your girl some love. Please, please. I greatly appreciate it. All right. All right. All right. My boy Rashawn over there. He's showing each other love over there. Where are the leaders? I think having one leader is too much responsibility. I like that. I like that. So let's get into it. Let me go ahead and say something. Let's talk about it a little bit, because when it comes to the Black community, we tend to always want to look for a leader. And hey, got to give my boy, hey, came in. Okay, hey DJ E man, how are you? How are you? When it comes to our leaders in our community, I think a lot of the times, and it's the Black community loves talking about having a leader. We don't had many leaders over the years. We have some of our favorite. We have some of the most prominent leaders when it comes to the Black community. Some people have their favorites. Some people don't like them. Sometimes you got some shady ones. You have some upfront ones. And nowadays with social media, sometimes it's easier to acknowledge one that is not necessarily for the community, where prior before it may have been, it may have not been, So it's interesting to have conversations about leadership in the Black community, because a lot of times people, us, the Black folks, if we're going to talk about leadership, how we're going to do it is we're going to say the only leader we need is Jesus. There's a lot of people that want to talk about faith and having a leader. And though I do believe in having your own faith and having your own belief system, I do also believe that it's necessary to have someone who can speak up for us, the majority, when we cannot. So I think having a personal faith is one thing, right? So I just wanted to speak on that, because I can already see some people coming in with a different kind of perspective when it comes to that and having leadership when they speak of their faith, which is absolutely great. It's just, let's talk about what we're doing on the groundwork. I think God does the overseeing, and we move the pieces. So with that, I think today we are seeing some people do some work, try to put together some things, but again, with social media and other things, it doesn't really give us an opportunity to really see powerful leaders, like leaders who are moving in a specific way. A lot of times we like to reference one of our favorite times when it comes to leadership, because we had a lot of them at that particular time. It's the civil rights movement. During the civil rights movement, we had a few leaders, and our most prominent leaders were Dr. King and Malcolm X at that moment. You had a lot of other leaders, like the Black Panthers had their leaders, Huey P. Newton, and oh, you guys are going to kill me. But of course, you had my boy from Chicago doing his thing. Oh my God, don't kill me. Don't kill me. You guys help me. I just had a brain fart. So all my Chicagoans are going to kill me. And anybody who can help me say that guy, say his name from Chicago. They did a whole movie on him. Lord. So we had a lot of leaders. You had hey OG Patrice, maybe you could have helped me with that. Greetings and salutations. How are you? I want to be able to have the conversation when it regards to having leaders. I think sometimes this is something that I do want to speak on. Miss Over the Top said it. She said, when it comes to our leaders, where are the leaders? I think having one leader is too much responsibility. I totally agree. And I've seen other people who try to take take some type of leadership role and we dismount them. I'll give an example because this is one of those things. It pretty frustrated. It frustrated me. It frustrated me a lot when I found out that what the Ice Cube was doing. That Ice Cube was honest enough to say, "Hey, I am not the smartest, the brightest crayon. I'm not the smartest guy, but I'm also not the dullest. So what I am doing is orchestrating something and bringing forth people who are more qualified in topics and areas that I am, and let's put it together." And when he went on, it's a show with Lisa Ray, shout out, a fellow Chicagoan, and Vivica A. Fox and a few others, the Queens. I think it was a Queen show, right? And they dismounted him, except for Lisa. Lisa was pretty much chill and trying to help him out. But I think that it gets a little frustrating sometimes when we have these conversations and we're not honest with ourselves when it comes to us not necessarily having one. Not today. We have some people who are attempting, like Brother Polite. I think that's a guy who brought forth attention to things, but to call him a leader, I'm not sure about that. Then we have the guy who just keeps going to getting in trouble. This guy keeps going and getting in trouble. He's the one that has a tattoo over his eye. He got long locks. I'm pretty sure some of you guys know. He sounds like an Israelite. I don't know if he is, so I can't even say. But we have so many people who are trying to do something, and I don't think it really sticks, So maybe some of you guys can help me out. I'm going to drop the link for anybody who wants to join the conversation. Let me put it in the chat right now. I do believe that today is it's very interesting because we are seeing a lot of changes within the atmosphere outside of the conversations that we are having amongst ourselves. So I think that the youth is doing some amazing things or trying to push some amazing things. And I think we will have some great leaders in the future because right now things are looking odd when it comes to having leader. And I do believe what Colette was saying, we definitely should have multiple leaders. I don't believe in having one. Even in the civil rights time, we didn't have one. Dr. King was the most up front, but we had Malcolm X and we also had other people as well that were talking. It was not just him. We had Jesse Jackson. We had a lot of other people. So to put that on one person is I don't think it's smart. I don't think it's smart. Leadership should be a council, not an individual. I hear you. Yes, I do believe in that. I think also, but also you should have somebody of some type of representation of what you guys represent. The most, maybe it's the best speaker, maybe it's the one who know how to formulate their thoughts on the queue when it's time for Q&A questions, you know what I mean? And I think because when you have unless you want to create some type of secret society, right? If you want to have some type of secret society that's doing some things, then that's one thing. But if we're trying to put forth a narrative, then you need a face. It would be great to have multiple organizations that represent different aspects of the community. I totally agree. I totally agree. I just dropped the link in there, you guys, for anybody who wants to come in. Anybody who wants to come in, be sure to come in. Yes. Hey, how are you doing? Cloud Nation Media, how are you doing? Rashawn said Tristan said we don't need leaders. I doubt that. I think that we should do it different than we did before because we know what happened. We know what happened when it came to having our leaders, right? And I see you in the background. I'm gonna bring you up here. When it comes to having leaders in the front, they killed Dr. King, right? They killed Malcolm X. The people who did that thing, they killed them. And then the young man, I'm only thinking Huey P. Newton. Maybe OG Patrice can help me. He was a part of the Black Panther. He was in Chicago. He started the program, which created the WIC, which initiated the WIC. I know she know who I'm talking about. They did a whole movie about him and everything. So maybe she can help me with the name when I bring up. So I'm gonna read one more comment, then I'm gonna bring up my first panelist. And Rashawn said, I think we have to redefine leadership, going to have a business structure with a headship and a public face, but that person isn't doing the organizing. We need structure, not a leader. So I agree with all of that. So I that's the reason why I said that when it comes to having someone who is able to speak up um and say something and necessarily be the face, the person that you want to come up to. Thank you, Fred Hampton. Appreciate it. I'm gonna ask OG Patrice if she was going back there like, girl, Fred Hampton. I'm gonna ask her. But yeah, thank you. And yes, the guy that I was talking about with the tattoo on his face, young Pharaoh. Oh, OG. So, that's OG Patrice. OG Patrice already know what I'm on. So, yeah. So we have people who are trying to do something, and then you have the people who were in the front. Marcus Garvey, Bob Marley. There's so many people who were saying things. And Simon says it's a loaded question, which I do believe it's a loaded question. Hey, but that's why I said having a face, there's nothing wrong with having a face. Though I do think we need to do it differently because our leaders died before. And then the organization died with it. That's dangerous. We can't do that anymore. That's why I'm agreeing with the council idea. Yes, have a council, a representation, a group of people who are doing things. And I think that Ice Cube was trying and was attempting to do it during Trump's administration, and people thought he was crazy when I think he was trying to do something. And so many of us, just because we don't like the way somebody do something, we want to negate it and downsize it and make it seem like it's something bad. Like, no, if somebody's trying to do something and they're orchestrating ideas and they're not doing it by themselves and they have people in place who are specialists in certain areas, how are we to try to tell them no? Ice Cube has the resources. So let's bring up my very first person that I love. This person right here. You guys should know. Y'all should know I love this person right here. I always big this woman up. Because she is the OG, okay? OG. Y'all know who it is. The OG. And as a Chicago native, my Chicago sister, I call her the auntie for the YouTube streets, but also the Chicago auntie. I got to take it a little personal sometimes because that's just how I roll. Okay, I love to big up my Chicagoans. And here's the beautiful Miss Beautiful OG Patrice. Hey, OG Patrice.
Hey, what's going on, Miss CharaeBChicago? Salute to you, Niecy Poo.
Hey, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Trying to have this conversation about leadership because I understand a lot of people are. We always, as Black folks, I guess, probably. I'm thinking this part of it has to do with the fact that I think it has there's a multitude of things, a lot of things that they make us believe or think that we need to lean on one person or we need some leadership because we have a unique situation where we were taken away from our culture. So now we're trying to rebuild something off of something that was landed on us, right? Right. So,
Right.
but it landed in our lap. So we're trying to figure it out. So of course, because there's so many different people and we're trying to figure out, of course there's going to be different ideologies. And I know at a time when we had the civil rights movement, we had so many leaders, and then once all our leaders and our prominent leaders that were actually doing something, right? Fred Hampton, Dr. King, MLK, MLK, Malcolm X. I think a lot of us tend to look for that again because they were doing something and actually affecting change. And when they died, the organization and the things that went with them died with them. So I think that because of that very powerful time in history and all of the changes that they were able to affect in their lifetime, and when chaos happens again, that's life, right? You keep going and then something else could potentially happen. And when something else started to happen, we didn't see any more leaders for a while. We didn't see any prominent leaders for a while. And you got some people who don't trust the leaders that we have today who are still alive, who may even did something at that particular time, like Reverend Jackson I have two leaders dead, Jesse Jackson, and you have the Rev. So I think that a lot of people are seeking for something,
Mhm.
and then also because so many of us are looking to be saved, um some of us are sitting on our butts, and I think that's also a conversation that we probably need to have as well, because putting people together is something that I think we should possibly focus on, and then displaying what we're looking for and potentially having a leader. So but creating a foundation, like Malcolm X was a leader for the I don't know. I needed to water or something today. My brain is freezing. Uh for the leader for yeah, the Nation of Islam, right? And after the Nation of Islam, after he died, now we have Minister Farrakhan, and he's doing his thing. But the Nation of Islam didn't necessarily have the same effects that they did when Malcolm X was around. You get what I'm saying? So this is just a lot of things that I think about. So what is your idea of some of the things that I said, and when it comes to Black people and the Black community needing a leader?
Thank you for having me. I agree. I think you're right. I think we do need leaders. I agree with the fact that there need to be multiple leaders, because one leader, there will be too much strain, stress, and pressure on one person. And then when you have one or two leaders, it's only them two that's going to get so big, and then it depends on who we choose to follow, is how big that person gets. When you have multiple community leaders in your communities, then you have, I think, better choices. And I agree with something someone put up. I think it was 100 watts. I think there needs to be some councils per those leaders, right? Like there needs to be like a board of disciplinary, right? So that when these leaders screw up, they can get voted out, they can get fired, if they do things that are unethical, they're not, leading our people in the right direction. So I do agree with that. And I agree with what you said too as well. We do have a lot of young leaders out here that's coming up, but it's so unfortunate that it seems like something happens with them every time. And it's either that they have these agendas where they are chasing a bag, and they may start out in the beginning with good heart, good intentions, good conscience, good morals, good values, good integrity, but somewhere along the way, they sell out. They settle for the bag. Even when, I'm looking at leaders, even the ones that are activists, like your My Sons, your Tamika Mallory's, your Sean King's, Tariq Nasheed's, Ben X, Brother Islam, Brother Young Pharaoh. All of these people have great potential, right? But then at the same time, all of these people have been in the news, have been, around where they are attached to some negative connotones, if you will. And it's unfortunate that that is. And it's easy to fall into. Brother Tyrone Muhammad is there where you are in Chicago, in our hometown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I interviewed him, uh, 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 Miss B, Sheree B, Chicago, and you probably should maybe try to look into to interviewing that brother because he was
I,
living.
I'm not totally familiar with him. But I
Okay.
definitely will look him up though. What if
Yeah,
you said his
Tyrone
name
Muhammad.
was right?
Tyrone
Okay, I
Muhammad,
will look him
yeah.
up.
And when I it's so funny when I interviewed him and asked him the question, he about so many leaders that he see and politicians that sell out, and he said to me, his words exactly was to me and my partner at the time when we hosted a radio station. He said, "Yeah, I can tell you how many times politicians and people have hit me up about selling out to my people." He said they
Mm,
offer me fat checks to sell out.
Ooh.
That means come to they side, do it they way, come to they political party or they whatever, whatever, and sell out to your people by doing the dangling of the carrot, the shiny objects, and promise them some and deliver nothing. He said, if I would tell you how much my phone ring, how
Mm,
many times I have been asked, look, to get the bag to sell out as long as I conform to this,
mm,
conform to that ideology. Yeah, it's amazing.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I think yeah, it's pretty tough because we do see a lot of people selling out. I see you in the back. I'm gonna bring you up in a second. We do get a lot of people who want to yes, it's tough. It's tough. 100 Watts asked, are we expecting perfection from our leaders? I'm pretty sure he asked that at the particular time when I think he asked when you were speaking about are you having a council and trying to figure out are you real? Are you remember?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's when the time he was asking if you're asking for perfection. I don't think anyone necessarily asks for perfection. How well, let me take that back. There are definitely people asking for perfection.
Right. In that
Let
case,
me be
that's
100.
impossible.
Right. It's humanly impossible to have perfection. I think that I think that sometimes it's almost like when there's somebody you admire and they do something, like if you're a fan of somebody and they do something that hurts you, you can't believe it and you're frustrated. So I think that's what drives the ask for perfection,
Mhm.
because being disappointed from someone that you admire is devastating to you, you know. So um of course you can't have perfection. It's absolutely no way. Malcolm Little and Malcolm X. Let's be real. Then we have, if you know who Malcolm Little is, Malcolm Little is before he became Malcolm X. And then you have Dr. King. The you know what they saying? They're saying he done had some different area
Mhm.
codes. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Mhm.
I'll be honest about that. If that's his only thing, I'm sorry. I cannot. I'm not going to diminish this man's whole history off of him being on the road. And I
Sleeping
mean,
with white women and
oh, white. Oh, I didn't know it went
yeah,
there. Okay. Okay, that's different.
and
Now that's different.
yeah, he was allegedly being accused of that as well as selling out as well too.
Okay.
I think the problem with a lot of our people is that when we allow Caucasian people to fund our movements because they
Yeah.
come in and they co-opt and they make I mean we saw that happen with BLM. We saw that
Yeah.
happen with Me Too. We
Mhm.
saw that it started out you sort of like FUBU, for us by us, right? And
Mhm.
then when the funding comes from somebody that don't look like us,
Yeah.
the movement gets co-opted, gets changed, and things of that nature. And then a lot of the leaders have to lean towards the people that's paying the bills or paying them, as to say, now you need to do it this way because you're in, they're in their pockets, right? The leaders
Mhm.
are in their pockets, so to speak. So I think that that was the biggest problem with a lot of people that they had about Dr. King and I think that in the end, and I've said this on a couple of platforms, I said it to Angela Stan King. She's a part of the King family now.
Mhm.
I'm a moderator on her channel, and she and I go up on her platform. We talk all the time. I said it on Michi X. I'm a big follower and fan of Michi X,
Right.
and I go up on her platform, and we have these conversations that are difficult to have about Martin Luther King. And I will not disrespect the man, period, because I do believe he did something for our people, right? But the things that he's being accused of now, yeah, he's a human being. I think he realized, and I don't expect perfection from people, right?
Right.
I think he realized in the end when he did that speech about the two Americas that he realized he had integrated his people into a burning hell. He said that. Though
Yeah.
that was the speech that I believe, not that
Yeah.
I have a dream and all that. Like that's the speech that I believe that was
Yeah.
problematic to America is when he
Yeah.
did that one. So I think the problem is that we're seeing, the people that are activists that are, marching and protesting that were a part of the BLM and the other movements that have done exactly that. They are in the pockets of particular people, and then they get up there and they whole agenda change for their people. They started being on like what activists be performing on music award shows, like getting commercials for Cadillac, like
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's
Because now it's about your bag. It's not about
yeah.
the people anymore. It's not about the community anymore. So it's that selling out of things, collecting a bunch of money off of the backs and the deaths of black men, black women, and
Hmm.
black children. You collect all this money for these foundations, and Amir Rice's mother is a prime example. She's still asking Sean King, where is the money? Where is all the
Mm.
money that you collected off of, my son's death, as is Michael Brown's father? So see, these are the things that we have to pay attention to of what we say our people sell out on, right? Like that's what they do. They go and get these, they go and I believe in the beginning they heart and intentions is in the right place. And then because they don't have no control over who's funding these programs and these movements, they have to then curve to their wishes.
Yeah, so that is definitely something that I want to speak to as well. I strong Why do black folks feel that they have to work with white folks? Like we feel that that's the only way we can succeed. Like you can't why? Like at one point I have to agree. Today? No. Absolutely not. We do not need their funding today. I don't, at one point, yes, because they controlled so many avenues. There's so many different avenues, and we are way more resourceful today than we have been ever in history. So it's, to me, extremely unnecessary to have the same rhetoric and believing that we have to Have to. It's one thing you can make a choice all day, every day. You have to work with white folks. Now, this is not for me to say that, of course, just like there's not all bad black people, there's not all corrupt leaders, there's not all racist white folks. So, yes, some people wouldn't need to fit the narrative of being a person with bad intent. However, just to give a little bit of where my mind comes sometimes, my mind goes to the mentality of Malcolm X after he left the Mecca, not before. I'm not even. I mean, the Malcolm X before was good, cool, but the Malcolm X after he left the Mecca was a little more understanding to me. So let me bring up one of my other panelists who are in here. This guy, me in the YouTube streets. He be saying a few things and shaking up the room sometimes with some of his ideology and some of the things that he likes to say and some of the things he likes to do. Um, Again, anybody else who wants to call in can definitely call
Sheree,
in. Yes.
Sheree, I asked who it is before. Can
What?
you in the
Come
back chat?
on,
In the back
OG.
chat. Put it in the back chat. Put it in the back chat. I have a reason for that. Put it in the back chat, please.
Okay. Okay. I do that just because it's you.
Okay, all good.
All
All
right.
good.
All right. All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're welcome. No problem. Man, these YouTube streets. I can't. I only listen. If it wasn't OG Patrice, I don't know. I just love my auntie. I'll just keep it going.
And I love you more.
All right. So All right, you guys. I'm about to bring up this person who be saying some things and doing some things. So sometimes you gotta take your time and listen and hear what he has to say. And sometimes he be having some points. He have some points, and then sometimes we gotta keep talking. So let's give a warm welcome to my guy, Mr. Simon Hectic. Oh, how you doing, Simon? Simon, you there?
I'm here.
How you doing?
Yeah, Sheree. Yeah,
Hi,
Patrice.
Simon. How are
How,
you?
how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How you doing?
So, let's see. I want to get to these. I'm not even mad at it, Juana. I'm not. I promise you, if it wasn't OG, I don't know if I would have done this for anybody else. Maybe Bolo. Like, I just have a respect for my elders. Anybody else probably wouldn't have been able to get away with that. And I think I would have. I'm just being honest. I think I probably would have went in the chat and let them know, or because I understand or I know some of the things that's going on, I would orchestrate it myself. You know what I mean? But I
I thank you so kindly
yeah,
too. That means the world to me. Thank you so much.
you're
No,
welcome.
no trepidation.
So let's go ahead and get to these questions since I have two panelists up here. I'm gonna start off with one question in particular. This very first question. I want to start off warm. Let's get a little warm today. Let's get warm hearted today. Who is your favorite Black leader? Let's go ahead and start with Simon since he just came to the panel.
um, to be honest with you, I have leaders from the past, and I can take that.
Who would it be? Is it one in particular?
No, I think we're just in a new world, and you know, that's just from education, in terms of what we've understood, and what we comprehend. But we're in a totally different generation. And I know this is going to be a bit like controversial, but my new leaders are the people that I see now. And I think that's just in line with the young people.
Why would that be controversial?
I don't know. I would think because like
Okay.
on like because I was just watching your video from the bank, so it's just like when you're speaking about people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and why do we keep we got two names out of
Mhm.
thousands of millions of people, thousands of millions of Black people, two names? Come on. It's just like, this is ridiculous. Like, not being bad, not saying or detracting from the fact that they had no sort of point in our lives, but we're in 2022, and I think the problem is we got to get with the program. And for me, people like yourself and Patrice are more like, in 10, 15 years time, the people that young people or people that are born, let's say tomorrow, are
Mhm.
gonna see. And there's, I say that for a reason. I've been studying.
Mhm.
um let's take Al Capone and then take Biggie, and you see the same image uh, that's being filtered out to the media. Same image.
Did you say
Um,
Biggie? I just want to make sure I heard the right name.
yeah, Biggie Smalls, right?
Okay.
Then you
Okay.
take Al Capone. The same stance, the same image, the same capture. We never knew Al Capone, right? We wasn't from that era. We didn't know what's going on. There was all this stuff going on in white culture, right? And it was rife. And they were explaining things and trying to get things in order with their community at that point in time, right? But the
Mhm.
image you see Al Capone, right? This sort of busty guy with the cigar, the the lean stance. Pull it up on Google. Take Biggie, then you'll see exactly the same thing. So what's going to be left really for a future generation in about 20 years time is that they're going to see black people, not the not
Okay, I think I'm just because I want to try to find where you're coming from. I'm trying to find the parallel between Biggie and Al Capone.
it's the gangster mentality. It's the
Okay.
it's the thing that there's nothing beyond that. Like, so you sort of capsulize the image. It's almost like there was nothing, there's no substance there, there's no culture there. It was just that they were that. When we are actually rich, we are actually cultured people, we are actually people that walk streets, talk to people, try to get into communities. We have next door neighbors, we do things on a day-to-day basis, that we fulfill people's lives. We do more than that image that is portrayed, where it's just like, okay, that is just what that culture is. Where if you're coming from another position, like say you're from another culture and you don't know that, like on the other side of on the world or something, that's all you see as black people or whatever people.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
I don't want
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, I understand. I think I understand what you're saying now. Um I think
so
our image is definitely something that could be looked at, especially when it comes to having a leader. And I'll say this: I do believe some of the leadership mentality um, can be inspired by gangster music, and that's not to say that that could be necessarily a bad thing. And the reason why I would say that is because if it wasn't for a gangster mentality, we wouldn't have Malcolm X. And there's a lot of people who tend to grow up, and the things that they learn from being in the gays in the gay in that thug life later becomes beneficial. And that's not to say that it's always beneficial for the whole community. It could just be beneficial. Look at Jay-Z. Look what Jay-Z did with what he learned with being a gangster. And the mentality to do something like that, you can take, there's always silver linings in everything. You could take something from the bad and bring it to the good. It doesn't always have to be so cut and dry. Um, I think, and OG Patrice probably can help you with this part, because I don't know how many times I done seen a dude, even a woman. I done seen somebody who may have grew up in a particular environment, embodied a certain type of environment and ideology because of how they were raised and what type of atmosphere they were exposed to, and then grew up to be something, I wouldn't even say totally different. I just would say better, because the mentality was always there. Like, everyone necessarily may have potential, but until that potential is no longer potential, and we see it into we actually see it, tangible evidence that is just potential. But there are so many people that are walking in through their potential before they get the opportunity to see certain things. Exactly. Judge Mathis, there's so many people like that. So I wouldn't completely be all the way saying let's just trash out gangsters and just send them off and all of this. No, because sometimes they just need someone to not look at them as a criminal, and then they become something else. But they have to want it. I think Malcolm X was in jail, so there's no jail. You know what I'm saying? You have nowhere else to go. You have to see this man every day. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
sometimes you have to be in a position to actually receive it. So yeah. OG Patrice, who is your favorite Black leader?
Um, I would say by far, Malcolm X later in my years, like once I got in high school and college. Early on,
Mm-hmm.
it was most definitely Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton, and Bobby Seale because as a little girl, I actually saw them active in the community. So
Okay.
so they were like even though Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale started out in Oakland in California. Then it later came to Chicago via Fred Hampton, and then having two uncles that were in the Black Panther Party, and being a part of that little girl that was a part of the program that they had in Chicago, and actually seeing them people be active in the community. So I looked up to them. I remember like 5, 6, 7 years old, and going to the lunch program, the breakfast program,
Yeah.
being a part, having they would have listen, people sat down and they read to us. They did things, they did things actively in the community. And then of course in my grade school, middle school, it was Martin Luther King, because they started pushing King more to the forefront after COINTELPRO with the Black Panther Party and how that was destroyed.
Mhm.
And then of course King, like I said, through grade school and middle school, and then my high school and college years of learning about Malcolm X being that strong leader that definitely was that by any means necessary because we were a more softer people, a more humbled people when King was in office, right? When King was the leader, when King was saying nonviolent, when he was saying nonviolent, but yet all of our people were having dogs sicked on us, water hoses on us, beat
Right.
with the batons, but from the police. But we were told not to fight back, and you saw. The pictures and the video footage of that, and then you have Malcolm X to come and say no by any means necessary. However, we got to get it. We got to get it. We got to fight back. We got to fight back physically if we got have to. I mean, just like the Black Panther Party, they had the right to bear arms,
Hmm.
and look what happened. It's just like when that happens, they destroy all of our leaders, and when they destroy, it's something about when they destroy the leader, the rest just destroys itself and
Yeah.
just falls apart. It's like that top domino. That's that first one, and then as soon as you tap that one, all the rest just trickle down effect. So
Yeah. I that's kind of I think that's part of the reason why the conversation of having a council was definitely needed. Um we had to do something different if we're going to have another leader. We have to do something different. So I totally agree. The next question that I
oh,
have,
and
go
one
ahead.
second, I don't want to leave out the new eras that's coming up, like New
Yeah.
Era Detroit. They have one in Las Vegas, New Era Las Vegas. We do have these groups coming up, and we have these leaders. The young ones are
So
coming up, like I named.
so
Go
I'm
ahead.
stopping you for a second. I'm stopping you
Hmm.
for a reason. So that goes into my next question. Do we
Okay.
have any black leaders today? So OG
Yeah.
Patrice,
Okay.
since you
Yeah.
got it started, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The newer ones are, like I said, the New Era Detroit, New Era Las Vegas. They're building them per cities, So also I think one of the newest leaders. Well, no, he's kind of old. You have Young Pharaoh. When I was watching Young Pharaoh on YouTube, man, that young man was on fire, but something happened to him mentally. And he's a little off right now. He's a little unbalanced. I don't know if it's, drug related or what. I don't know, but he was on fire. And a way that I know that when you start talking about certain sectors and certain group of people and started like he was no holds bar. He
Yeah.
was that no holds bar young man that I hadn't seen that much fire in nobody, but they find a way every time to shut him down, one way or the other. He barely has his platform. I think he lost his platform, but he still goes on social media. You got your
Mhm.
brother Islams that comes up from the Nation of Islam. You have brother Ben X, who's also Nation of Islam, Tariq Nasheed. These are all the younger generation of leaders, but they have all been problematic in their own right with certain
Mhm.
things. And I'm not saying they have to be perfect, but is issues concerning them when it comes to selling out, getting the bag, having their own agenda, getting their own fame, and forgetting about the people. And you know what I mean? And like really making a difference for the people. And they, and don't get me wrong, they've all done some good. But
Mhm.
then there's the stuff that's the problematic stuff that kind of like you looking at them side eye because it's like, okay, but you just sold out. You just did this one thing, but then you just sold out on five things. So it's like, it's like, come on, come on. And it makes it hard for us to trust as a people. It makes us hard for us to trust leaders. It makes it hard for us to get behind any of these younger leaders because somehow, if the movement gets co-opted, it becomes a problem because they end up in the pockets of the people that is funding them.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, that's
So
interesting. Just quickly, sorry. Um,
no, go ahead.
on the topic of trust, right?
Mhm.
So, why do you find it hard to trust um, the young leaders? No, I'm not talking about the older leaders, but the young leaders. Like this, yeah.
I'm sorry, Sam, because they already showing signs of where they just in it for the bag. They already showing signs of where they only have a one-sided track agenda. It's not really an agenda for the people, right? Like Sheree was given a prime example. Ice Cube. We know that Ice Cube is not like he said. He wasn't, I don't even think he was trying to be a leader. But when
He was.
Ice Cube was the only one that was willing to sit down and have the conversation about reparations and about a black agenda for black people, our own people shut the man down because they didn't like who it was he was going to talk to. And that's where we go wrong as a people, because who else in the hell was in the position at the time for him to talk to besides the president of the United States? And because it's somebody we don't like, and because it's somebody we think is racist, we get in our feelings. Because it wouldn't have mattered if Biden was in there, it wouldn't have mattered if Obama was there. They all the same. They all are the same. So if we're not in the room sitting at the table with these people to make the decisions, because we're so in our feelings because, oh, I don't like who he talking to, we gonna cancel Ice Cube now. And then he goes on Cocktail with Queens and they reprimanded him like he a child. I was very disappointed in those four black women,
Man.
because who are they to sit and reprimand that black man when he was trying to say, I'm trying to talk and get something done for our people, and because you mad at who I'm talking to, you want to cancel me. And he
Yeah.
went on back in his little corner like a little church mouse. Like we do that to each other. We do it in these
Yeah.
YouTube streets, and we do it to somebody that's want to speak up. Listen, Ice Cube had a list of a black agenda of things for our people. And Trump, no matter what people say, you can say what you want to get in your feelings about, but Trump kept saying, what do black people want? He kept saying that. He was
Yeah.
willing to sign the $500 billion Black Platinum Plan before, people, before, I need to say it again so the people in back can hear, before he left the office. Biden is the one that told you all, wait till I get in office and then we can have a conversation. But we couldn't see past our feelings. And we missed out on an opportunity, not only for Cube to bring a black agenda forward, but for us to get the $500 billion Black Platinum Plan. We missed out on all of that because we were in our feelings listening to somebody tell us, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And now he in there in an office, and what have he done for blacks?
So I want to say something to that, because I think I want to reiterate this. First I want to say, because this brother right here, if you guys are not familiar with this man's channel, My Life in the Shot, this man right here has a YouTube channel where he highlights what's going on in the Chicago area, and he talks about what's going on in the Chicago area. He sounds like your favorite uncle. So I love what he's doing over there. I did a video on him, so go check it out so you can find out what he's doing and how he's doing it. He sounds like a news reporter, at the same time having fun, going in the streets, not afraid to go in the streets and actually interview people with when things are happening, and he's letting us know what is happening in our Chicago land. So much love to My Life in the Shire, aka Mr. Donald Washington. Thank you for tuning in as well. Cloud Nation is giving you love your stream. I love what you do over there, My Life in the Shire. And you guys go subscribe to his channel. He has over 32,000 subscriptions. Follow him on Facebook. He has over 300, I think it's 362,000 followers on Facebook. This man is making moves. Okay, he is making moves. He is doing things to try to highlight stuff. So I want you guys to go give that brother some love. But when it comes to this Ice Cube thing, right? What I love what Ice Cube did was he was willing to have a conversation with someone we don't like. Brought people who were more educated in the stuff he wasn't informed on, or didn't necessarily have all of the knowledge or the best knowledge on, and was doing it for everyone. Like, he was doing the tough part and was not even trying to be a leader. He was trying to get other leaders who may have been better qualified to have the conversation. And just because we didn't necessarily agree with who Trump is, or didn't feel that Ice Cube was qualified enough, well, Ice Cube's not qualified enough to talk for the people no more. He's the people. And last time I checked, I thought Ice Cube was us. You get what I'm saying? Like, he was another brother. You feel me? So I was just very confused, very, very confused. I think it showed that lack of trust that OG Patrice talked about, because that didn't make any sense, especially how those women treated him, because they were coming to him saying, what about black women? What about black women? The paper said black people. Are you not a part of people?
And Sheree, even if black women needed specific things, it's not like it couldn't have been added to the agenda, because once Tone Talks found out that Ice Cube was going to sit down and talk to Trump, Tone Talks invited Ice Cube to his platform. Now, Tone Talks is co-founder of ADOS with Yvette Carnell. They both are the founders of ADOS, which is American Descendants of Slaves for Reparations. So Tone Talks invites Ice Cube. Ice Cube goes over there on Tone Talks platform, and Tone Talks give them look, we need this, that. And Ice Cube said, okay, I'm going to add all this stuff to the list. I'm going to talk to my people who are smarter than me, more intelligent in these things. I'm just going to be the mouthpiece.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But we literally, and it was two women that I love, especially on there, because they both from the Chi, which is Lisa Ray and Selena Johnson. Shout out to my Chi-Town sisters. And shout out to Claudia Jordan, and shout out to Vivica A. Fox. But ladies, you had it all wrong.
But I'll say this though, we gotta say it publicly. I will say this publicly. Lisa Ray was not one of the women. It's just unfortunate she was on the panel with other women who were drilling him. Lisa,
she didn't as much. You're right.
drill him. Lisa Ray really had more, so she had questions, and she also stuck up for him a little bit. It's just when it's three other women, three other people, and they're so loud, it's just hard to hear. So, but Lisa Ray was like, I don't think, you can even see her face was twitching, like, I don't think that's his intent. And she was trying to stick up for him, and she was doing it, and I think she was trying not to step on her sister's toes. But I think that's one of the times she may needed to say something a little more, because what Ice Cube was doing was very unique. So and I love what he was doing. It was coming from the right place, so I was all for it. So it was just it's just unfortunate that that had to happen. All right, so let's get to, did I ask? I don't think I asked you the other question, Simon. Do we have any black leaders today? OG Patrice spoke of some of the leaders. Do we have any leaders today, Simon?
Yeah, I think like what OG Patrice spoke on was cool. In terms of like Ice Cube, there's Eddie Grant as well in the Caribbean. He made a whole video. Like, don't know if you know who Eddie Grant is. Have you heard of Eddie Grant?
Is Eddie Grant that singer that sung the song "We Gonna Walk Down to Electric Avenue"?
Yeah.
I know.
Wait,
See,
Patrice
I'm in the industry. I know.
Yeah, nah,
Okay.
he was like one of the icons back in like the 1980s or something. I'm kind of old, so it's like he made a bit of a wave. The thing is, it's like in terms of black leaders today, what I think we got to take into perspective is the black leaders that we speak on in the past weren't black leaders of their day, and we can you know, have a juxtaposition with that. Like the thing is like I don't know if it's just me, but I have a futuristic perspective. I can see black leaders off the cuff.
Yeah.
I could see OG Patrice. I could see like Charae. Like I could see, but that's not, you know, the way we talk. It's almost like, oh, we've been fed all this history. We've gone to music. We've had this education. Like the people that were in that time did not see Malcolm X or Martin Luther King as black leaders at that time. They were taking a bet. It was a gamble. They walked in that gamble. They were scared. They were fearful. You know, when the bridge walk was going on, when they came to the meetings and everything, it's like, but is there an expectation right now that we're supposed to be like, oh, there's a black leader, he's just gonna draw the crowd, just because we're in this world where we have an Instagram sort of, or Facebook or YouTube sort of thing going on, and ultimately, if we're going to listen to someone, they get likes, or you know, they you know, I don't understand. It's just like that. That's just not how we didn't even have telephones back then. Like we used to talk like by means of like letters and slow mail, like to the young people. I think the perspective is a bit warped. Although we have the feeling and understanding and education behind what the profound message was in terms of black leadership, embodied back then, we don't, as a futuristic generation, actually have a way of displaying that to our future generations at present. And I think these discussions are good because it allows us to sort of get our heads around it. But not many people speak on it.
Okay. I'm trying to let it sink in just a little bit what you were saying. I'm trying to digest it.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, because that was a lot. Um. Okay. I think I think I hear. I don't know. Do you want to say anything, OG Patrice?
I agree and disagree with some of his perspective. I
Yeah.
think that when he said the part about MLK wasn't looked at as a leader, or Malcolm X wasn't looked at a leader. I think that that's from a small sector of our people, because we know now that we had people that looked like us that did not agree with their movement, right? That wasn't down with their movements. Prime example was the woman that, people like the woman that stabbed MLK. It was a lot of people that did not agree with his movement and his ideology, nor did they Malcolm X as well. But I would
Yeah.
agree. I would agree with what you said, Sharella. I think Malcolm X mind and perspective changed about a lot of things after he visited Mecca, because
Mm,
when he was under the Nation of Islam, he always thought that the white person was his enemy. But when he went to Mecca and saw that there were white people that were Muslims, then he had a different perspective about those white people, or certain white people.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I think that his perspective changed in that sense, just like King's perspective changed about when he realized, when he wanted black kids and white kids to go to school together. I think he realized in the end that he starts to rethink that and say, I think I made a mistake with my people. We
Yeah.
probably should have stayed separate. Probably should have stayed separate and not integrated. So having him doing that speech, I understand Simon's perspective on the latter part of the conversation of what he said, but I think that um, King was just forced in our face more than Malcolm X was. That's
Yeah.
why he's considered the bigger leader, if you will, or the more influential leader. And that could very well be because of the people that he had behind him, as opposed to the people that Malcolm X did not have behind him. It was a different set. The funding and the money and all of that from Malcolm X came from people that look like you and I. It
Yeah.
it did not with Dr. King, and that was the difference.
Okay. I say this too. I still strongly believe this. I think that if we would have gotten if the Malcolm X after the Mecca teamed up with the Dr. King when he hit that realization of the burning building, we would have that them teaming up. Oh my God, what would have happened? Because those are two very fearless men that was willing to go in the face of danger and put themselves out there, and then they started to have the same ideology later towards the end of their death, and then also um even with them having two different religions, that would have been, to me, that would have been mind blowing. That would have been something else. The world was not ready for it.
Absolutely. And
Not
if
at that time.
and
They
that-
was
and
not ready for it. Today,
and
I think we can receive that probably, but not at that time. No.
Sheree, the thing is, I believe in the end, had they both not been assassinated, they both were coming to one accord, because at first they wouldn't be caught in the same room. They
Yep.
wouldn't take pictures with each other. And in the latter part of that, you saw that, because Malcolm used to come at King calling him the COON word. So
Mm-hmm.
because he knew that he was getting funding from our white counterparts. So, as where the Nation of Islam was absolutely not taking funds from anybody that didn't look like them. So, all
Right.
of their backing came from the nation. And then even when Malcolm X branched off and did his own thing, and then when you have Khalid Muhammad and all those people came up even behind Malcolm X, and they were a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I remember when Khalid went on Donahue and a lot of bunch of other programs. Y'all probably too young to remember that, but Phil Donahue, and he was very intentional in not wanting to have anything to do with our white counterparts at all as far as the movement was concerned. It seems to be that with some of those leaders, they thought that anytime you co-opted and allowed other races of people to come in to the movement, you know, the shit will hit the fan,
Yeah.
and less things will be destroyed. But I will also say that things like COINTELPRO, with what happened with the Black Panthers Party and that movement, it was people that looked like us that sold out,
Yeah.
that came in and helped destroy that movement. It's the same as with the Move movement. I don't know if people is familiar with the Move organization. They were out of the Philadelphia. It was founded in the early 70s by a man named John Africa, and they were a Christian movement, but they were an organization that advocated for like the natural laws, the natural way of living. They were their own movement based off of they ideologies, not what the government ideology should be, things of that nature. So they were all into homeschooling, raising, rearing, growing fresh gardens, just doing their own thing, and not, exercising a right to bear arms and not allowing our government to dictate them. I believe they wanted to become a sovereign nation, if you will. And
Mhm.
again, because of things like people that look like us that sell out to people that don't look like us, we
Yeah.
go in and we infiltrate. And then that movement came down and they bombed and destroyed women, babies, children. They bombed that whole building that they had stayed in there. So many of them were deleted off the face of the earth, unfortunate. And I remember when that happened. I think it happened in the 80s. Like I think I was in high school when it happened. I'm telling my age, but oh well. But I just remember watching it on TV and just saying, "Damn, we can't have nothing. We can't have nothing." Without they destroy everything, like they burn down everything, they delete all our people, like we can't have nothing. Why we can't have nothing? I just remember feeling that way as a
Mhm.
teenage girl, as to
Mhm.
say every time we try to get something going, it
Yeah.
gets destroyed.
So that leads to my a question I have. I have a question because that's definitely something that I hear a lot. That everybody says, that a lot of us say, we can't have anything. We know what happened. You gave an example, the what happened also when Tessa. We know about these stories. We know when things happen, they destroy our leader, they kill our leaders. There's so many things. Um, man, there's so many things. So the difficult part about knowing the history of what happens when we come together and we get something going and it's going in the right direction and it's starting to um you're starting to see the positive effect of it all, right? Do you think that that is the reason why more people are afraid? Because I think that part of it is fear. Part of it is fear. Some of it is caution. And some of it is just like, you know. Do you think that that plays a part in the decision making when it comes to whether or not you're going to make a move and moving the culture forward? Yeah, Sam, you could start.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like I don't think people really understand opportunity. And when things come up, especially where they're a sort of place in their circumstances, they don't realize opportunity. Like I could turn around to you and go, "Look, email me now. Like call me
Mhm.
now. Like you don't know who I am. You're a bit cautious. You've had your own previous life experiences. You're like, who's this guy? Like, what's he talking about? Who's this nigga? Like, is he on me or like is he trying to get something from me? And a lot of the time, people think that is he trying to get something from me? Is she trying to get something from me? Blah blah blah. What we've got to recognize is um, from a perspective is you move in circles, right? So
Mhm.
like the people that you're networking with is like for like. this is natural human instinct. Like it, when you sort of go out in the real world, like we're on the internet now, we're talking blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is there's no way in hell I'll be tuning into you if I didn't think or find something interesting about you. The point would be connect, find out more, and make that move with the people that you feel entrusted with. And if at some point, let's say I said, "Hey, yeah, Charae, let's talk. Like, let's like email me, talk to me, blah blah blah," and then you felt like some off cuff, and it was like, "Okay, I don't really feel that, brother." That's fine, but at least it happened. At least you tried.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that's going on is a huge disconnect. Like we don't even do that. Like we'll just rather listen to the rumors. We'd rather listen to people just going, "Oh yeah, that person said this person said that, blah blah blah," and feed into that. Where other cultures don't operate like that on a baseline level. It's just like let's get it. You know, it's just it's quite simplistic. And if we can allow ourselves to be in that simplistic state, it will benefit us in a much more richer stature.
I would agree with that. It's just unfortunate that Black people, and that's from all walks of life, don't get our bottom line.
Hmm.
We don't get our bottom line, and that we, no matter what our differences are, we need to see past our feelings of that, right? And know that we need to rise as a people, period, and be stronger as a people and become more united because divided we fall, and my God, have we fallen? And
Mm-hmm.
literally now we're dangling on life support. I've said it many times. We are truly on life support. We have every time that someone tries to come up and make some little difference because we don't agree with something, we just want to automatically shut them down. One little thing, it could be one little thing they don't like about that person. Well, I don't like that you talk to this person because I don't like that person. So you ready to shut them down. How are we ever going? Listen, I've said this many times before. Sheree could like red, I could like blue, Simon could like white. We all got three different favorite colors. But our bottom line is we know one thing we share, and we all love black. So why can't we focus on that and rise up from that? And then you go to your red, I go to my white, you go to your blue. It's cool. But
Mm-hmm.
we don't get that. And all other races of people get that. They got some people that definitely do not follow their doctrine and ideology and politics that are in their racist and culture of people. But you know what they do? They don't worry about them. They focus on the ones that do, and they build from there. Black people can't get that because we get mad to get our feelings, and now we want to get this movement, this sector, follow this person, don't follow that person, go over here, go right, go left, go up, go down. Like we all over the place. And that has never been good for us. We can have leaders from all over the diaspora, but if we have a bottom line of where we want to see our people rise up from, that should be the focus, the bottom line.
Yeah. You know, I've heard real quick, Simon. I saw you on click on mute. Well, I've heard I'm gonna just say this real quick to what you were saying. I had a conversation with a boxer. He had a pretty decent career. He was professional and things of that sort. I met him in one of the oddest ways to meet somebody who was a professional boxer at one point. But but he was telling me he was like it didn't matter if you were black, white, race, whatever. The comment, he was like, sometimes people be tripping on certain things. And that's why I like boxing so much. No matter what's going on, we touch gloves, we get in the ring, we fight. We got one thing. I'm trying to kill you, or you trying to kill me, and I'm trying to kill you. We have a common thing. Let's get in there. How come people who get punched in the face get beat? People getting beat in that ring. Somebody gonna lose. You know what I mean? And get beat in that ring, and we can still laugh and joke and have a drink right afterwards. Right after I whoop yo.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And we can talk and we can sit and have a conversation. And what brought us together? Just the common, you know. And I remember he was like, man, sometimes some people just need to get punched in the face.
Yep. Sheree, check this out. Check this out. When I worked for the Obama administration and I saw the people that they were debating with on the opposite side of the political realm, they will get on that platform and have knockout, drag out debates. And you know that they would do the same thing after the debate was over. You could go down the street in Nevada and see them at the local bar, the pub, or the eatery, sitting down and eating together. Do you
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
But because if politicians do it all the time,
man, man. And strongly disagree with each other. Simon, I know you had something you wanted to say. Go ahead real quick. And then I'm gonna, unfortunately, guys, I'm gonna have to cut this I'm gonna have to cut the stream after Simon says we're gonna leave our final remarks, and then we're gonna end the stream because I have someone else that I have to go.
yeah, I know I have another platform I'm supposed to be on too. I think you might be on the same one I'm supposed to be on too.
So go ahead, Simon.
I appreciate it. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
Nah, I appreciate just before I go,
Mhm.
you know, I could get deep. You know, like in terms of like I wake up every morning. I don't know what's gonna happen. And no
Mhm.
one knows what's gonna happen, you know. But the fact of the matter is if we want to build something, if we want to become leaders, I think we just need to like I know what's happened in the past, but we need to just move on to the future and try to acknowledge who could be potential leaders and identify them and work with them. You know, that's all we can do. Like, we can't keep identifying with the past. We can learn from the past
Mhm.
because obviously that's just that's a bar. That's what we do in education. Like if you go to a course or something, that's what we do. Like there will be examples, blah blah blah. Yeah, like we've had great leaders. Why can't we create great leaders now? Why can't we
Mhm.
create who are our great leaders now? And it might not be as poignant as what's been portrayed as us, like in terms of like imagery, but we have great leaders now. Every time I get on YouTube, every time I get on the TV, or every time I see something in my life, in my work life, I see great leaders. I see great people. I point them out, and yeah, I might get shut down for it, whatever. People might have opinions of it, whatever. But I know in about 10 years' time, they're going to point to them and go, that's a leader. Okay, that's the person, right? And as I say, like the people on this panel right now, I see as leaders. There's nothing going on that like this has been a fast 2 years, where we have seen people get on platforms, speak their talk, and like express themselves in a very passionate way, in a very poignant way, in a very educated way. And I really appreciate it. I don't think a lot of people do because they can't. When you see all these channels popping up, there's so much. You can't pay attention to everything, right? So you tune into what you're more inclined with,
Mhm.
right? And at the end of the day, what happens is you will tune into the people that you're like for like, and at the end of what happens is they are a leader to you, and I have no sort of I have no way of saying that's something bad for me to say that there are two women on the platform that are leaders for me.
Mm-hmm.
and I'll take that to my grave. I appreciate you. I'm off, and I know, um, you know, there are women doing their thing for their community, and that is just so blessed. It's unbelievable. Um, I'll probably have a different stance on a different platform. You know, you know how I go. But no, keep doing what you're doing. It's appreciated. And rock on.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Simon. Thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate that. Your final thoughts, OG Patrice?
Yeah, I absolutely appreciate Simon for saying that, and I thank him for his perspective. And that's the thing that I
Yeah.
like about us as a people. We can agree, disagree. I agreed on majority of what he said. The
Mm-hmm.
things that I disagree on, I don't have to be volatile about it. I don't have to come back at him and you wrong and why did it, like I have something to prove. I can respect his perspective. I can think about it, even if I don't think about it in the moment. I can think about it later, and maybe it'll might make sense. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But that's still my brother. I'm not gonna never, go on platforms and because I disagree with a particular view or opinion and knock him down or knock his opinion or view down. And
Right.
and that's what we got to stop doing as well, because we don't agree with someone's perspective or view. But thank you, Sheree, for allowing me to bless your platform again with my
Thank you
presence. I
again.
appreciate it. Salute to your chat. And yeah, I appreciate you so much and what you're doing. You are a young leader coming up, young lady. So keep up
Oh,
the good work.
thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate people listening and tuning in, and I'm watching people pay attention and have these conversations. I know when I had this type of idea of having conversations about building the community, I kind of got a little people like, so I appreciate that I'm seeing people actually appreciate it. So it's touching my heart.
Absolutely. Take
Yeah.
care now.
Thank you. You too.
You're welcome.
Bye bye. All right, you guys. I guess my final thoughts before I leave. About to go to the other panel that I will be a part of. Shout out to King. I will be over there on King's panel where we're talking about how thank you, how trauma affects women in the dating world. That's what we're gonna have. That's the conversation we're gonna have today. I may get a little spicy today. I don't know. I may get a little spicy. I don't know. It could happen. I don't know. But I appreciate you guys coming and chiming in. The final words that I want to say is, I think that it's pretty difficult for us because of our situation and how we came to this country. It's difficult for us to talk about having a leader and where we are in the Black community, and the topic of the topic of having a leader in the Black nuclear family is something that's very important to me because that's part of the community. So having leaders and talking of the leaders and talking of the leaders of tomorrow is how we can try to figure out these solutions. Like there's there's a lot of complaining to me that is going on and not enough action. Like action is so necessary. Action is what causes things to change. We talked about these great leaders and what they were doing. Not once. I ain't gonna say not once. We were talking about what they were saying. Yes. However, what they were talking about, what they were doing is what really touched us, is what really grabbed our attention, is what really imprinted it on us and really made a change. So what I want to leave with you guys is try to find a way. I'm not saying go out there be Malcolm X. I'm not saying go be Coretta Scott King. You don't have to be Angela Davis. You know, it's okay. I'm not saying do that. But what I'm saying is try to find a way to do something to impact the people in a positive way, impact the people where we're pushing conversations forward. We can talk about the history and the yesterdays, but let's learn from them. Let's see what we could do differently. If you see somebody who may need some guidance, and go ahead and say something. Like, let's push things forward. Complaining is that's here nor there nowadays. And that's here nor there, you know. Okay? We can complain about what happened, or what's happening, but it's time to do something. Okay? So thank you guys for being here. On your way out, be sure to like the video, follow my pages on Twitch and Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that notification bell, and let's build the community. I don't know if you guys feel that or not, but I love it. I want to build a community. I don't know about you guys, okay? I mean, I love my community. I love Black folks. I do. I really do. I promise I do. I mean, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm out. Go over there to King's channel. You catch me over there.